How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get into some animation. It's time to get those creative sparks flying. It's time to get that imagination all revved up, and it's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from Claude Mezieres. It's French, so I'm probably saying that a little bit wrong. Let me know in the comments down below. But he is a phenomenal concept artist and graphic novelist. Usually associated kind of with Gur or Mobius, but you're probably familiar with his work, you just don't know it. Right here you can see just some lovely color work and really great composition and solid drawing throughout, and really creative stuff as well. But this scene, you're like, that kind of seems kind of familiar, seems like something I may have seen before. Well, maybe you have, because a lot of his work has kind of been reiterated on in a lot of different movies. You can see definitely like Conan the Barbarian, The Fifth Element, the Star Wars series. All of that stuff came after some of his phenomenal work that really kind of set a mood or a tone or a style that was later kind of reiterated on, not necessarily completely duplicated, but definitely gave a lot of inspiration to those things as well. You can see this was definitely like the scene in Fifth Element, and this one's really cool. This is one of the ships that he created that's very reminiscent of what they ended up using the style of the Millennium Falcon. I really like this one as well, just really creative coloring and kind of an awesome little, almost praying mantis style spaceship, which is a really cool idea. Again, you can see right here that you're like, that kind of looks a lot like the Millennium Falcon. Well, there you go. Definitely check out his stuff if you can. I will link to it down in the information below. Yeah, he's just phenomenal. I really love his stuff, and it's very similar to, I don't want to say similar because they each have their own strengths. For sure, but you can see that there's a lot of, I know that he worked with Jean Giraud or Mobius as well, so you can see, especially in a screen grab like this, it reminds me a lot of Mobius's work as well. And I just want to flip through to this one right here. Unfortunately, there isn't a lot of translated interviews from Jean-Claude, but I was able to find this image right here, which is his own kind of portrait that he did for himself, and I'll read the little clip here, and the translation in English is, "Okay, you can come out now, the photographer has left." And I brought that because I think there's a part in every creative where it's like, okay, everyone's gone, everything is away, and you can just sit down and you can finally let the crazy out and let the creative stuff to start to fly once everything's taken care of, and you can just kind of get down into your little creative cave and explore all those things that have been building up in your head all day. And I think that's a great kind of synopsis of the way that works. At least my mind tends to be that way. When I've got a lot of stuff in my brain or a lot of things going on, it's really hard to get into those creative spaces. And also, there's a lot of people that you'll probably meet on a day-to-day basis that are "Hey, how's it going? How are you? Oh, I'm doing fine. How are you?" That just very superficial level that you'll know people and those people you kind of compartmentalize all the bizarre parts of your personality that make you awesome and unique. And I think there's something true to that too. But I think as a creative person on this creative journey, you have to try and push that stuff out into a venue that hopefully you have strength in, and whether music or sculpture or if you're a woodcutter or whatever it is that's your creative outlet, and try and focus that upon the fundamentals and everything that you have with those. So that being said, I know that he's definitely someone that I've only really started to get a closer look at lately, and so I'm hoping I got a couple of books of his that I want to get on order and really devour, because I really love his style. I feel like these days it might not be as environment changing or as shockingly new, just because there's a lot of people who have gotten influenced by his work, but I like to try and go back to a lot of foundational stuff. So I personally like when a genre is first starting to develop, and looking at the work that developed then, like in animation, looking at a lot of old Winsor McKay stuff, or the early Disney stuff, like early Disney stuff, or even like the Fleischman brothers or any of that kind of stuff. I think if you can find that almost like the 1.5 to second generation of an art form, I think is where you really start getting some just crazy stuff, where and even animation right now, like 3D animation, it's starting to become really prolific. So it's not in that first like fundamental stage where it's just, okay, we can do it, but now, okay, we can do it, and it's been out for a little while, and people are starting to experiment a lot more with it, and you'll see blending of like 2D and 3D stuff, or you'll see blending with real video and animation, and just all these different types of ways. And I think that's when an art form really starts to get in that point where I like it. Just like I'm a big fan of punk music, and the original stuff is kind of okay, but once you get into like the little bit later, like second or third album Clash stuff, you get away from the really just gritty stuff, and then you start getting this polish and a little bit of experimental stuff still thrown in with that, and I really tend to gravitate towards that. So that being said, I'm kind of rambling. Let's get into our animation for today. We're going to be using this Atom rig. It's a free rig you can grab over on Creative Crash. I believe it's listed actually under Rapid rig, so I'll have that information down in the description below, as along with a link to some of Jean-Claude's stuff as well. And if you're new to the series, what we'll be doing for the rest of the video is we give ourselves 48 frames, that's 2 seconds of animation, and I go out and find a different rig for us to play with every day. So I've never used this rig before, and we'll see what we can come up with. So for this one, I was thinking I just want to mix it up a little bit more. I've been kind of doing a lot of not the same stuff, but I want to do something a little bit different for this one. So I figured for this one we do is sidestep. Just something, still kind of in that wheelhouse of something that we can, probably get done with in anywhere from half an hour to an hour and a half. And, but just mix it up a little bit. So I thought that would be a fun way to attempt this one. So first thing you want to do when you're starting off a file is go ahead and save it. Save a different version of it so you're not saving the exact rig itself. And then let's make sure we turn everything off except for our curves, our surfaces, our polygons. Let's set our frame range. We're going to go from 0 to 48. And so let's go ahead and get into starting a good pose here. And like I said, I've never used this rig before, so usually when you start posing, that's when you start seeing the things that you like, or that might become a bit of a struggle later on down the road. So this one, just want to create what they call as good storytelling poses. So I want to get something that's got a little bit of character and might give way to let the audience know what might either be coming up next, or what kind of a personality this character would have, or any of that kind of stuff. And once again, thanks again for all of the likes and subscribes. Seems like we've been getting a lot more subscribers lately, which I always appreciate. Just turn it on a second recording just in case we need it. And definitely let me know in the comments below when you like something or when you don't, or if you learned something, or if at least it inspired you to go off and create something of your own. We're all in this creative game together, so I love to hear back from you guys. Anything you guys are thinking. And let's go and rotate here. Not really a sneak, but something with a little more kind of a stealthy sidestep. That's what I'm kind of thinking. Let's go ahead and move all 3 of these. We have, it looks like 3 different neck controllers, so let's go ahead and use all of them. Go ahead and pull that one up so he's still looking out. Gives us a nice little neck, kind of like that. You get almost that little bit of hint of maybe like an Adam's apple kind of thing. And maybe we'll tip the neck a little bit more forward. And a little more out. It's kind of funky there. use. Let's see what we just got a little bit of like kind of a deformer there. I wonder what that's from. I wonder if it's from the hips. Okay, maybe it's just that it's extended a little bit. Let's see. See, it affects this side though too. So I'm wondering how that's gonna feel. I'm gonna save the file here. I'm gonna pause the recording and try reopening this and see if perhaps that's it. Otherwise, we'll just go from there. So 1 second. Okay, so I just referenced in a different version of this, and it does look like it's just kind of a rig issue because you can see as we pull this leg further away, it does make the other leg kind of deform a little bit. So I think we might not be able to do our side step then, just because we're gonna get a lot of that. If we can keep the legs, I think, kind of in a similar gait, we can minimize that. So let's go back and let's open up the file that we had a second ago. We'll go back and unfortunately that we're gonna have different issues that come up with using different rigs that we've never tried before. So that's one of the things that I kind of want to do with this series as well. Is let's see, what did we save that as? We saved it as Adam. Okay. But yeah, that's a part of this series that I wanted to do. It was like I've said in other videos before, and I'll say it again, is that I wanted to try and create a resource that was something that was kind of lacking when I was first learning animation, and that was longer frame videos. And they're not going to be for everybody. Some people just want to watch a 5-minute video where you know, you get here it is, and then here's the next step, and here's the next step, here's the next step, but you don't really see how it happens, what the thinking is behind it, and you know, just see how it evolves. And you know, sometimes there's problems that come up, and sometimes there aren't. So I think I'll still keep kind of a similar idea for posing wise, because I like this kind of pose, but I want to get the hands a little better. But we'll just have him, maybe we'll have him walk backwards. I want to do something other than walk forward. Let's go ahead and tweak the fingers here a little bit. So it looks like we're still probably going to get some of that deformation in the legs, but if we can keep it to a minimum, maybe it won't be so distracting. And it just seems like that might be just kind of a problem with this rig, so that's okay. Overall, I kind of like the style of this rig. It's kind of just give a little bit of grip. I like these hands a lot, and I think face is pretty cute little face. And every rig's got its own issues, so we'll just try to work around them. Let's keep just a little bit of angle. Just trying to get a little bit stronger hand poses than just the flat ones. Don't be amazing hand poses, but just something a little more intriguing. Tilt that out a little bit as well. And let's go ahead and look at the other hand again. We're just going to grab all the controllers just to give us a rough pose, and then once we get from there. I think it was C that was kind of the cup here. And then let's go ahead and grab all of the roots here. Pull them out a little bit. Just want to have a little bit of variation between the two hands, so maybe we'll do more of like a cup kind of a feel. splayed, or it's got a little bit of arc in the fingertips, which will give us a different hand pose than the other one. Just something a little bit different, so that it's not so much mirroring the other side here. I think we might want to keep that a little bit. But overall, I think that's pretty good for our solid pose. Let's go ahead and tweak that a little bit. Let's see if we can do a little bit of seeing that little bit of deformation in that calf there. That's okay. I think that works so far. So let's go ahead and grab everything here. Again, we just want to make sure that we have just our nerve curves, nerve surfaces, our polygon selected. And let's go ahead and frames here, and let's go ahead and set our first key. And let's start building this up. And should I do a cycle, or should I do like an actual walk? Let's do an actual walk. And what I mean by a cycle versus an actual walk is with the cycle, you do all the animation, so the main movement can be on the like kind of root controller, or the base controller. So I can move this around, and it wouldn't matter how much that was transversing, because the animation would all be confined to inside of that. With kind of an actual walk would be moving the feet and getting really solid foot plants, so there's no kind of slippage or anything, but we'll actually leave the center sphere here. So there's different advantages. One's more of like a movie type of animation, or a feature film type of animation, and one's more of a game type of animation. And you want those things for different reasons, because with the game, you want to have your unit move wherever the player is moving them. So you just want it to look like it's moving while that's going, and you want to have that directed. With a feature film, you've got kind of a locked off camera that you've decided to, and you really want to play to that camera and everything as well. You want to make that animation as solid as you can, because the animation is going to be the focus, where with the game, animation is still important and it helps the feel of it, but it's a little bit secondary to the whole user experience and the user input. So just a little bit of variation there. Okay, let's kind of look at it now, see where we're going. Again, we're still getting that little deformation there. I don't think there's any way really around it without getting in and really tweaking the geometry and everything, which, for the sake of time, I want to make sure that we can get these videos in a good amount of time and moving forward, so we're not going to worry too much about that. But that's definitely something, if we were going to put this on a reel or anything, that we'd want to address and avoid before we really got into animation here. And let's go ahead and look at these feet here. I feel like that's working pretty good. Let's make sure the weight's pretty distributed so it stay kind of balanced there. I feel like this foot could probably be a little bit further back to start off with. Let's go ahead and set that, and then we'll go ahead and middle mouse button and copy that key over here. And with that being said, a lot bigger step there, so let's go ahead and pull that back a little more. And that's going to mean this step needs to be a little bit bigger. This one as well. It's going to be to back a little more. Mostly just making these steps bigger. I want to keep there's some good spacing there. And then let's go ahead and adjust the hips a little bit more as well. And we'll go ahead and just look back through the main poses here and make sure it still feels pretty balanced. And let's look at it from this view here. Okay, and let's go go ahead and just save our file here. It's always good to save multiple versions and save often. In case I didn't mention it before, we are using Maya 2014 for this little exercise for today's animation time. Sometimes I use older versions, but I found that I'm liking going more towards the 2014. I should mess around with the newer versions a little bit more. I find like they're a little more resource heavy, which I try to stay on the lighter side with programs I run while I record as well, so we get a good frame rate on everything. And don't forget, if you want, you can, I have a PayPal link on the site, it's caseyturtles.com, and also a support button here on YouTube. If you guys do want to support anything we're doing, or you like what we're doing here, you can definitely do that, and any money from there will definitely just go into making these videos a little bit better. Hopefully we'd like to get a better mic, and always any sort of upgrades to the PC can make this even faster or better frame rates would always be something I'd be looking into as well. Nothing that you have to do, I'll keep doing these videos no matter what, but if you do end up liking what you see, definitely do that. Our best thing you can do though is really just, if you like any of these videos, just share them with other people. Let other people know so that they can get some free animation guides. And yeah, let's go ahead and get the foot raises here. Other side here and get those passing positions locked in. And again, like I said, this is kind of like try to do these so that there would be a little bit of inspiration and everything for those who are long-time animators. We take a look at a little bit, and just having some good consistency as well, so that it motivates other people. They'd be maybe flicking through their YouTube page and be like, oh, there's a new video by him. Oh, I haven't done a new animation for myself in a while, so I should get back in there. And then for newbies, just kind of the main goal is offer a resource that's a free resource. And once people kind of get through this kind of stuff, maybe you can go on and I always recommend Animation Mentor. I think they're a phenomenal school. Also, I've heard really good things about iAnimate as well. Definitely check out either of those schools if you want to learn more in-depth stuff. I'll try to definitely cover as much as I can here and offer free for you guys. But if you want more, you want one-on-one with some great teachers there, like I said, I can definitely vouch for Animation Mentor being a phenomenal experience as well. And just adding a little bit of weight to those steps so we lean over that planted foot. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of tilt here to the hips as well. Let's go ahead and look at that now. And let's go ahead and clean up that curve here a little bit as well. And right there as well. So let's go ahead and look at that now. And let's go ahead and rotate those so we favor the front planted foot as well. Just a little bit of rotate wide on this side here. Definitely, since I was just talking about Animation Mentor, one of my buddies, Mike Amos, who's a great animator, just started teaching over there. So definitely, if you do end up checking out that school, see if you can get him as a teacher, because I think he's just a great talent and a really solid guy as well. So definitely take his classes. And if you do, tell him Casey said hi. Let's go into the chest here. Let's do a little bit of animation there as well. And we're just kind of going to counter animate what we did with the hips here. So we're going to do a little bit of rotate, see that way, and that way. This is probably a little too much, so I'll tone that down a little bit more. So let's go into our graph editor here and just scale it back a bit more there. And there we go. Let's go and look at that now. Okay, and let's do a little bit with and rotate Y as well. We're going to favor the other side here. So when the hips are favoring the legs, we want the chest to favor the opposite side. So the hips are tilted into that leg, and the chest would be tilted to favor that arm. Get a little bit of counter movement there. So if you watch when people walk, they swing their arms and their legs opposing. So the left arm would swing out and the right foot would go. Okay, a little too much of that, so we'll scale that back, but at least we got that idea working. And let's go ahead and see here. So just kind of a question, or if you guys are still, if you guys have checked out the YouTube gaming stuff, I was thinking about maybe doing a little bit of there for every once in a while when I get some time to game. It seems like interesting. I'm not sure if it's any better than Twitch, which by the way I am kind of streaming just drawing exercises and stuff on Twitch as well, so if you guys want to check my stuff out there, it's just the same Casey Turbos. Definitely welcome to do that as well. Stop by and say hi anytime. And do a little bit of drag there in that foot, lift it up. But that's, I usually do like 2D stuff over there and then a 3D on YouTube. And again, I've kind of mentioned this before, I really, really have an affinity for 2D stuff myself. That's where I feel like I'm really drawn to. But the reason I do a lot of 3D stuff here on YouTube is because I really felt like there was a void for 3D animation on YouTube that had like some in-depth tutorials where you didn't have to pay like a big fee or buy anything extra or anything. There's lots of people who draw on YouTube, but there wasn't a lot of people doing 3D animation, and especially not on any sort of weekly or daily or any sort of basis. So that's why I hopefully have helped to fill that void. So let me know down in the comments below, because I'm happy to do different stuff if you guys think that that's a good idea as well. Like I said, I'm hoping to, in somewhat near future, add some extra interviews with people that I've worked with and other people that I know that are kind of in the industry, the creative industry. I don't want to keep it just to animation or illustration or anything. And do kind of interviews on their creative process for the things that they do. So let's drag the toe down there, lift it up, and then plant it back again. Okay, drag it down there just so we have a little bit of overlap in the foot for when it plants. So let's go ahead and watch that foot again. I think it might be a little over-exaggerated on the up and down, so maybe we'll scale it back a little more. Especially just on the plant, felt like a little over-exaggerated. So let's go ahead and check that out now. I think for the hands, let's finish up this foot, but I think for the hands we're going to do kind of a little bit of a grip and then go back out on this one, so that kind of tighten up and then go out. And let's do a little bit of toe down there, lift it up, and zero out. And again, keep that, drag the toe down, and lift it up there. So let's see here. And let's kind of compare the two sides here. So we get kind of a similar move on the toe. It's pretty close to even up there. Let's go ahead and, now that I'm looking at it from this angle, I want to exaggerate the toe land a little bit more. So I'll just scale that back up. And that's the thing. You want your animation to work in every camera. Like, we want it to work in all 360 degrees from wherever we shot the camera with. But in the end, you kind of want to decide on a main camera that you want to focus on and really play your animation towards that. So if we wanted to do kind of a more straight on shot, so we kind of want to play those toes up a little bit more so they read a little better from this camera angle. And let's go ahead and do a little bit of up and down on those shoulders. I think I want to keep the arms pretty similar to what I have them right now, where they're pretty dead. I don't want them completely dead, but I want the hands and kind of just the way the body moves backwards to be the focus of this shot, not the way the arms are moving. So we're just going to play that down a little bit. Still want to get a little bit of movement through them and kind of keep alive. Is a term they use for that, where it's not really a focus, or it's not really moving too much, but you definitely, like, let's say we're doing a shot, or make sure that you'll be able to see this in my camera. Let's say you're doing a shot where, shoot, do I have anything to set it on? Okay. The guy's resting his hand on a cup. I left it up here. So this is a shot, this is just a talking shot where his hand's resting on the cup. Now, in 2D, when you're animating this, if you're drawing every frame, you're going to get a little bit of keep alive just from the variation of the line, even if you're tracing over everything. So you don't really have to worry about that too much. But in 3D, if we lock it off here, it'll be pixel locked unless there's a camera move through it, where there will be no life at all in that hand. And it'll be noticeable if we're animating everything here, or talking here and all this stuff, and this is just dead. You're going to see nothing in there. So you want to do a little bit of just kind of some finger adjustments or something in there, a little bit in the wrist, just a little bit of keep alive. So that's what we're going to kind of do in those arms as well. Hopefully I explained that in a good way. If you have any questions, definitely down in the comments below. I'm happy to answer or go more in depth into that as well. But I'm sure this is all stuff that you guys already totally know, because you guys are, I'm sure, super awesome animators already, or if not, you will be soon. So keep up all the hard work and the exercise and whatever creative endeavor you guys are working on, because I believe in you. I think you're going to be awesome. So let's go ahead and see that now. I think we did the opposite here. We went in there. We got the shoulders going. Up and down, up and down. Okay. And let's work on the hands or the fingers right now. Set that. And let's go do like a I don't want it to be really a clench, but just more of like a grip. So if it's really clench and grip, not so tight. Let me know if you have a better word that I can use for that. So I'll go ahead and set it there. Actually, go ahead and set the one for the closer. Go back to 2. Go ahead and set there. Okay. Now this is really loose from what we have, but there we go. First of all, I'm going to hold, we have at like 2 for a few more frames, so it kind of holds this position, and hold it, and we'll take what we have at like 46 and we'll extend that, so that we really have a change of So first off, we're going to grab everything on the thumb, we're going to delay it 2 frames. And let's grab the extremities of the thumb, and we'll delay those a frame. And the tip as well, we'll delay it 1 more frame, so we have some kind of successive movement where the base would move, then the middle, and then the tip. Let's watch that. Just going to loosen that up a little bit more. And then let's go ahead and do kind of the same thing here with the fingers as well. We're just going to grab everything, and we're going to delay it a frame, and then grab the tips. Make sure we're grabbing the right control, and delay those a frame as well. And let's go ahead and watch that. Again, this is just kind of that successive movement where we lead and follow. Clenching in, you lead with the baby finger. So push that forward 2 frames. And then when you're going out, you lead with the index. So we'll have it follow. Just lead. Push it forward, and push it back 2 frames. So let's go ahead and watch that now. So we should be closing with the pinky and then leading out with the index, and then the pinky follows. Okay. Well, let's not exaggerate that by doing similar with this. We're going to have it delay a frame from going in, and then push it forward a frame for going out. So let's go ahead and watch that now. So I'm going to take all the bases here and look at the rotate Z on them. We're going to scale them back a little bit more. So let's go and look at that now. Go ahead and do a little bit less here as well in the middle. So just scale them back a little bit more. I think I want to grip the original. There. So let's see here. This wrist is too broken there, so let's scale it back a little bit more. And not as far back. Just scale back a little more. Okay, now let's look at the other side here. It's got more upside down. And let's just do a little bit of clench on this hand. So I think we might have over clenched the other one. It's just kind of too much, too busy. I don't feel that. So. Holds at 3, tail at 9. Held at 20, tail at 32. 1 second, I'm going to say. Sorry about that. Let's hold that a little bit more. Okay, let's go look at that now. Hold on 1 second here. Okay, hopefully we're still recording. Just heard a bunch of names. Alright, let's go back here. Just feeling like this is too much of a close. It's alright, but it's too distracting. I don't want it to do that. So I'll go ahead and grab. Set like 8. Just keep it simple, right? Okay, and I'll just hold that there. And 2 to 7. A whole lot too. I think overall it's just better. It's just, I don't want it full clench. I just want it a little bit of tighten up and release. And that's sometimes why doing one hand and then doing another hand in a different way and then kind of comparing the two. Or like a foot. If you're not sure if you want like one foot to be light or one foot to be heavy on a walk, do a heavy foot and do a light foot and then watch it and see which one you're more drawn to. And chances are it's going to probably be somewhere in the middle. but it'll give you a better starting point. If you're not sure and you want to try a couple ideas, that's one way that I find helps a lot. So I'll go ahead and hit like 15 as delete, do that. So let's see. Okay, and let's go ahead and break that up now. So we'll go ahead and grab the tips and the mids, and the tips and the mids. And we'll go ahead and delay those a frame. And we'll go ahead and grab the tips. And we'll go ahead and delay those a frame as well. And we'll just leave with the index finger, so we'll push that forward a frame. And we'll follow up the pinky. Let's go look at that now. Here we go. I feel like we could probably play up these two tips a little bit more. And maybe play down right here a little more. Let's see. Okay, and let's just save our file. We haven't done that for a little while. And let's go ahead and look at the fingers here. So I'll go ahead and delay all of those by a frame, and we'll delete the tips by a frame as well. Stuff on the index finger, and leave that by a frame, and grab all stuff on the pinky, and we'll follow that by a frame. Let's go look at that. Do probably a little more bend in the mids and the tips, just a little more. Feels like I just kind of hit and lock, so. Let's see here. Let's kind of overshoot a little more than we can. Because otherwise it feels like they're just kind of hitting and locking. Okay, and let's go ahead and look at the thumb and do a little bit of thumb there. Grab all the stuff on the thumb. Let's see. I feel like it's going out too slow. Let's tweak that a little more. Come on. There we go. Let's see. do a little bit of bounce on the head, just a little bit. I feel like it's already pumping. I just want to pepper in a little bit more. So. Okay, that works, but it's too much, so let's go ahead and scale it back here. Alright, scale it back a little more. Okay, let's go and look at that and see if that looks better. Yeah, I feel like that works pretty good. The only other thing I want to do is probably add a little bit of compression in the chest. A little bit of, kind of like squash and stretch, but still keeping the same volume here. So we're just going to rotate it back, rotate forward, rotate it back, rotate forward, back, forward. Let's go ahead and clean that up. Remember, you're a bouncing ball. Everything is a bouncing ball. And we just want a little bit of this, and we're going to offset what we do here in the chest. I don't know why I said that like Kevin, but okay. So let's see what we do. Starting to go the right way. Let's just grab all the rotate X's and clean that up. And again, we just want a little bit of this just so that there's some feel that's kind of like a fleshy middle part. And a little bit of squish there to feel a little better. You can see here. Seems a little too bouncy. And we got on some different timing, so it mixes stuff up here a little bit. Okay, let's go ahead and turn off our nerve curves and let's go and look at it, see if there's anything else we really want to touch on today. I feel like that works pretty well. So let's take a look back at where we started, looking at Jean-Claude. Okay, you can come out now. The photographer has left. I think that's a great way to not be two-faced, but definitely have that creative side of you that you definitely just let loose. And when no one's around and it's time to get into your work, just completely be like, you know what, everything that I'm holding back throughout the day, just here it is, there it is, and be yourself, throw it into your work, and keep doing it every day. So that being said, thanks again for all of the likes and subscribes. Feel free to comment down below if you end up using this rig. Definitely share it back so I can see all the amazing stuff you guys are coming up with. And yeah, we will see you tomorrow for some more animation.